Hidden beneath the surface, there is a secret corner of ocean where ancient species still thrive in dazzling abundance. It is an Eden of wildness and wonder. Welcome to Palau, Pacific Paradise. Far to the east of India and Indonesia, Palau sits alone at the edge of the vast Pacific, an archipelago of more than 200 islands, sheltered from the outside world. Along the submerged shoulders of Palau flourish some of the richest coral reefs remaining on Earth. The story of this coral Eden begins in the dark of night. In the shadows of the reef, life seeks shelter from the perils of open water. Here, things are not as they seem. Flower-like predators snatch up microscopic prey, blown by in the currents. Most of the year, calm prevails. But soon, the reef will be swept by a sudden explosion of life. The mating dance of sea cucumbers provides a prologue. Compelled by moon and tide, these sluggish bottom dwellers spew eggs and sperm into the currents. And one of Earth's great spectacles of fertility awaits. On summer nights, under a full moon, the coral animals known as polyps swell with spawn. Polyps can divide amoeba-like to expand the reef. But to spread colonies elsewhere and ensure a future, they must send out tiny packets of new life. Spawning begins slowly, but as the hours pass, the rising mass of sperm and eggs drifts like a storm over the reef, transforming the waters of Palau into a vast display of sexual exuberance. and eggs produce larvae, which will ride currents along the ocean ceiling away from the parent reef, then settle to divide and redivide into flourishing new colonies. If just a single voyager succeeds, each species of coral will be reborn. The islands of Palau are the visible tips of Himalayan-sized volcanoes. For eons, corals accumulated on peaks that were subsiding. Then, in a tectonic upheaval, parts of the volcanic ridge rose up, exposing the ancient limestone reefs that today form Palau. Then, geology turned eccentric. Over millions of years, the corrosive effects of wind and water sculpted blocks of limestone into giant mushrooms. Waves eat away the brittle and porous rock at water level. Rainwater and plant acids leach down through it, leaving a storyboard chronicling all that has washed or settled or burrowed here. Underwater, swirling currents excavated hidden chambers, until ancient storms tore skylights in the roof of the coral. Very close to these blue holes, the reef is a precipice. Towering above some of the ocean's deepest trenches, the walls of Palau deflect rich currents upward from far below. Plankton blooms. Life gathers to feed. The calm is deceptive. While smaller fish graze, opportunists like the barracuda bide their time, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The herds of game also attract the lion of the ocean, the reef shark. Hours pass in a stalemate between two survival tactics: safety in numbers and the element of surprise. Once each year, the richness of Palau draws fish called Moorish idols here by the thousands, increasing their likelihood of finding a mate. In turn, providing a delicious buffet for legions of reef sharks. Sustained by Palau's riches, the reef shark preys on the scores of Moorish idolfish who arrive once a year. Occasionally, a moment of sudden opportunity arises. Followed again by uneasy calm. Nearly invisible, the secret to life here is the living haze called plankton. The tiny animals and plants drifting by provide the first wave of nourishment that supports everything larger. Some creatures graze on plankton using diverse techniques. Garden eels rise from burrows to snatch passing morsels. The manta ray sweeps through the plankton fog, catching a meal sufficient for a 15-foot body with its scoop shovel mouth. Hunger is constant, but so is the life-giving broth. Hordes crisscross through the fluid pastures, eating as they swim. Though existence here differs from life on land, it runs on the same fuel. This Eden and its myriad life forms are powered by solar energy. Sunlight streaming down from above feeds the vital plants of plankton and miniature gardens kept by coral animals. Within the tissue of each coral polyp dwell microscopic algae. The tiny plants live on coral waste and in turn produce food for the coral, a mutually beneficial relationship. Builder of vast reefs, coral is a farmer and predator. Each polyp is a living tube, ringed by stinging tentacles hiding the mouth of a carnivore. For the countless microscopic plankton drifting by, these waiting mouths are a wall of death. As corals grow, each takes on a form unique to its species. Flat as a table, branched like a centerpiece, or rounded like the mushroom islands above, making the architecture of the reef a wonderland of distinctive shapes. For other creatures, the maze of coral structures serves as a kind of undersea city. There are readily available meals and places to watch life pass. It is a crowded world where residents become highly specialized at making a living. A place of alleyways and hideaways where the skittish can disappear in a hurry. For some, it's also a nursery. Camouflaged to resemble coral, the cuttlefish is a cousin of the octopus and squid. Jetting water for propulsion, it wanders the reef hunting crabs and shrimp. Sometimes 3 feet long, this deadly predator is armed with a strong jaw and venom. Today, though, a female looks for seclusion, not food. She deposits her eggs into dark recesses for safekeeping during 5 weeks of development. And that is the extent of her maternal care. She may never see her offspring again. This is a paradise created by living magic. From sun and seawater alone, corals construct one of the richest and most complex living systems in the entire world. Yet one can pass from the living world of coral into another world of reefs long dead. When Ice Age seas were lower, seeping rainwater carved caverns and tunnels in the limestone islands. Flooded by rising seas, they now seem like eerie burial chambers. Here, the staggering volume of coral construction is revealed. Great blocks, sometimes hundreds of feet thick, accumulated one thin layer of polyps at a time, compressed across millions of years. The air-filled caves of the past, hung with stalactites of dissolved minerals, are now a haunting watery cellar entered from the sea. A lone diver can seem like a humble pilgrim before a limestone shrine, surrounded by the silence of the sea. This may be Palau's strangest feature. Water from the adjoining sea penetrates underground tunnels and cracks to feed some 80 landlocked saltwater lakes. Though extensions of the ocean, Palau's saltwater lakes have each evolved a chemistry and biology unlike any other part of the sea. The strangest is a secluded lake filled with more than 1 million jellyfish that migrate endlessly. Perhaps trapped here by a tectonic upheaval or swept in through subterranean corridors, the jellyfish have adapted to survive in this island stockade. sustained by internal algae similar to that within corals. To nurture their life-giving algae, they cross the lake each day, following the sun. But their existence is not without danger. For animals waiting in ambush, a wayward jellyfish is easy game. More sedentary, but deadly, the anemone waits too. Snared in its stinging tentacles, this jellyfish is doomed, slowly digested by the anemone, and helpless to escape other hungry marauders. At night, the flotilla of jellyfish gardeners descends to fertilize their algae in nitrogen-rich bottom waters, then rises again to absorb sun all day, rotating to cultivate their algae evenly. For many creatures of the sea, night is a time of opportunity, a chance to feed under the cover of darkness. Nightlife bustles in Palau's city of coral. Animals wary in daylight emerge to roam the reef. Glittery silver fish dash after flakes of nourishment in the plankton, while the open water predators of day are resting. Creatures who lay motionless all day begin to walk in search of food. An abalone, an urchin, a crab masquerading as algae, things of beauty may prove fierce. Snails without shells like nudibranchs and sea slugs look delicate, but can sting their enemies. And most are carnivores on the hunt. One unusual starfish eats the very corals that provide its home. The crown of thorns secretes poisonous digestive juices from its underside that kill polyps, which it then devours. Creeping on tube feet tipped with suction cups, it leaves behind patches of lifeless coral. Some cone snails hunt at night with a venom powerful enough to kill humans, yet hide meekly in the sand all day. This is a 5-foot-long sea cucumber, gorging itself with the help of feathery tentacles. It makes its living eating the ground and filtering out the remains of plants and animals. An urchin, pretty as a flower, but deadly as a venomous snake. Its periscope eyes ever alert, the conch snail probes the bottom all night with a finger-like foot, looking for anything edible. A decorator crab, wearing anemone camouflage, struts its stuff. The largest nudibranch is called the Spanish dancer for its flamboyant means of propulsion. Possibly the most distinctive creature of the night, the lionfish is costumed by adaptation in fins and spines that look like feathers. But to smaller reef fish, the plumage masks a ferocious predator. The poison-tipped spines on its back are defensive weapons, but the entire array of quills are also used to hunt. Spotting prey, the lionfish herds the potential victim with fins and spines outstretched until the small fish is cornered. The strike is lightning fast. Reacting to the invasion of their territory, tiny pufferfish try to drive the bigger fish away by nipping the flesh of its spines. The giant will not give in, but neither will its small attackers. Trying to eliminate the pests by eating them proves a mistake. Spiky pufferfish can mean a mouthful of pain. Even for a ferocious hunter, night is a time of surprise on the reefs of Palau. is one animal in this Pacific paradise that is both tree climber and undersea swimmer. Beautiful, but lethal. The banded sea snake injects its prey with a venom as toxic as a cobra's. Once only terrestrial, it adapted to exploit the ocean's abundance, laying its eggs on land, but hunting in the sea. Its underwater excursions are made possible by a lung that stretches nearly the entire length of its body. Prowling for small fish, it can hold its breath for an hour. Each year, with the arrival of the monsoons, change sweeps over Palau. For a while, the tropical sun gives way to cloudbursts that cleanse and refresh life. Across the sandy bottom of a lagoon, another kind of cloud passes. Moving like a single organism, young sea catfish scour a sandflat for hidden prey, with the back row constantly leapfrogging ahead in a conveyor belt movement that's both efficient and confusing to their enemies. In places where cover is sparse, some have developed extraordinary disguises. The peacock flounder, like other flatfish, spends nearly all of its life lying on one side, pretending to be part of the ocean floor. Its adaptation is so complete that both eyes grow on the side of its head, facing up. A male and female draw dangerous attention to themselves by leaving the bottom to mate. At first, they're too wary to complete the act. But finally, the compulsion to spawn overwhelms the obsession to hide. Where so many species mingle, unusual relationships have developed. The remora has found a way to hitchhike by clamping onto passing sharks and rays using a suction disc on its head, giving it unlimited free rides and leftover scraps. But the most bizarre relationships occur in special gathering places, where creatures both gentle and threatening temporarily seem to set aside all natural conflict. This spot may look like any other coral outcrop, but mantas, perhaps plagued by parasites, know that small fish waiting here will ease their discomfort by removing the pests. The attendants at these cleaning stations are wrasses, with heads and mouths small enough for the task. Assuming a passive posture as a signal, a larger fish allows the cleaners to enter its gills and mouth and eat away the parasites. one thing to clean a peaceful manta, but quite another to venture into the most infamous jaws on Earth. In this special zone, the lords of the Palau Reef come out not to hunt small creatures, but to seek their help, in return offering a brief truce and an endless supply of parasites for food. For the moment, even the planet's most feared predator seems as passive as a house pet. The patrons depart more comfortable and fit, and will return often to this equivalent of a health spa in the city of coral. Elsewhere on the reef, there is no relief from the harsh laws imposed by hunger and the need to remain on guard. The search for food is relentless. The response when an opportunity arises is merciless. Amid the heavy traffic, a female Titan triggerfish tends to her egg nest, blowing steadily to wash away silt and bathe them in oxygenated water. She also remains poised to ward off lurking predators. The egg nest is a threat to a nearby male triggerfish. They are not his offspring. If they survive, they would compete with his own progeny. Feigning attack, he lures the mother away, then blocks her return, leaving the eggs unguarded. The ploy succeeds. The mother returns to find her eggs detached and beyond saving. Another mother, a different strategy. Preferring to scatter her treasures in many hiding places rather than a single egg nest, a female cuttlefish continues to deposit eggs around the reef. They will develop in relative safety, while hunters of all kinds swarm the reef daily. After more than a month, most of the cuttlefish eggs spread about the reef have survived. Tonight, they will hatch. Though an adult hovers nearby, the young are now on their own. For most reef creatures, the demands of survival leave little time and energy to care for their young. But these hatchlings are well prepared. they emerge as miniature versions of adult cuttlefish. Instinctively, they know that safety lies in the sheltering recesses of the corals. The reef itself acts as a protective parent. While baby cuttlefish begin their first day of life, some reef animals are retiring to sleep and taking precautions. As a nighttime shield, a parrotfish envelops itself in a mucus cocoon, sealing off its telltale odor from predators hiding in the dark. Others hover in coral compartments to rest safely until dawn. Coral, the builder, gardener, predator, and protective parent, also serves as a dormitory. In Palau, the creatures that call this reef home survive and endure, nurtured by the sea and fueled by the sun. An ancient paradise in a lost corner of the vast Pacific Ocean.